Yo, what's up, y'all? It's Rev. Welcome back to another video. I make music as summer starved, record producer, songwriter, joyful noise chaser. So glad to have you back. Yeah, this video was inspired by an interview I did recently on the Renoise podcast. My guest was Cam. He's a Richmond-based rapper, singer, artist, chef. He's got a lot going on for him, and he shared a lot of wisdom with me on that episode. So definitely got to check that out. Link in the description. Yeah, we got to talking about vocal production, and one of the things he mentioned that I thought was really cool is the fact that he goes around his house and finds anything that makes noise. Hello, I love noise. And he uses it in his production. So I'll show you what he had to say, and then I'll show you a little video of me recording some household items. And then I'm gonna attempt to chop it up and make it into something that you could use in a production.
Like I have songs where like I'll mention drinking or something, and instead of me doing underlying vocals, I'll literally go grab 2 bottles and clean them together. Like,
yeah,
you know, stuff like that. I was like, an instrument, what is it? It's something that produces sound, really.
Right.
And I just look around my house a lot, and it's like a lot of stuff here makes sound. For my hands, I beatbox on some of my tracks. Like, and that's just improvisation. Like, I'm just going up there, like, let's try this out, okay.
So let's do it. So the first thing I'm going to do is here, this here is called places. And essentially this tells Ableton where to look for files to use. If I hit add folder, you can go through your computer and find specific things, tell Ableton where to go in order to drag files into your session. So here I have this particular sound on desktop. So I'm going to open that, and then it basically pops up here. So now I have this kitchen sink vid. I'm going to drag that in there. Get rid of that. That color's not my favorite. So I'm just going to change the color. I'm just right clicking and then changing the color. So I'm going to take these sounds and make them into samples that can be used. So the first thing I'm going to do is actually just click on this clip, and then I'm going to duplicate it, which is just Command D, or if you left click, you can say duplicate, I think. Right here. So I just want a bunch of these, and it'll make sense in a minute. So that's a little confusing at now, but if I click into each one of these, as you see, it's the same thing, and it's going to pop up down here in our edit window. First thing I'm going to do is just kind of discover some sounds. Cool. I like that little sound. So I want just these maybe few sounds to use. So I'm going to warp it for now. Obviously, we're not working with any rhythm yet, but I just want to capture these sounds. So I'm just going to highlight them in the edit window and hit loop, Command L. So you loop it. And then you go up to this beautiful thing called crop sample. And what that did is if I try to like find the rest of that long audio, it's gone because I cropped it down to these few pieces. And now I can really kind of get in there and see what that would sound like. Okay. So I'm just going to hit this. And now you see it's looping. Okay, I don't really want it to loop at this point. So essentially what I'll do now is let's just say I just wanted to grab this. I'm gonna Command L, loop that, and then crop that specifically and call this cup slide. Cup slide 1. All right, let's find some other sounds. Interesting. What's that going on there? Okay, so I'm going to warp that. I'm going to grab this here, call this crop that, and call it cup slide 2, I guess. So we got cup slide 1, cup slide 2. Cool. All right, we'll find some other ones. I'll probably fast forward this, but this is the process. Essentially, you're just going through. You're going to find sounds you like. So one interesting thing, as you see, I'm going through this is probably time lapse, but I'll pause to say, It's important when you're doing it in this method that, let's say you're moving this cursor around so that you see that there's a lot of audio that I've already kind of processed or gone through and scrubbed, I guess you would say, decide what I want to use. And it's important once you have, let's say, you're in a certain place in the audio, you don't want to always be like kind of going back and forth to try to find it. So let's say here's where I'm starting. So then what I'll do is just command duplicate that right away so that the next one, that player head is going to be right there as opposed to way back here. I hope that makes sense. Let me grab a few more and then we'll try to throw it into a pack that will work. I don't want them all warped, so I'm going to grab them, select them all, and then down here, as you see, it has 13 clips selected. 13 clips selected. And I'm going to unwarp them all. So they're basically just going to play one at a time. Jar rattle, and then match light. So I did a little processing on these just to clean them up a little bit. I put a soothe plugin, sort of frequency thingo, and then this another amazing tool called the RX7 voice denoiser, and that is from iZotope. So I'm not really going to go into that because honestly that would be a train wreck. I don't know exactly what they do. It's a frequency and YouTube someone else who has better knowledge than I. I'm going to freeze these. And what that's going to do is commit that commit the plugins that I just put on that. It's going to commit that processing. The next thing I'm going to do is actually flatten them. As you see, all of these little things that we have here, basically the plugins that I process them are flat, are no longer being used by CPU, and I've committed the sound to it, good, bad, and ugly. What I want to do is put this into a drum rack. So essentially what I'm going to do is open up a drum rack, and I'm going to drag these here sounds into the drum rack so that we can play them rhythmically. But as you see, all of these different sounds, they are there, but they all have the same name. Freeze, one, water. They're all there. But I did all that work to name them, and the names aren't showing up. So I really had to figure this one out, and I figured out a workaround. So I'm going to open up another drum rack that's empty. I'm going to grab all of these clips, right click, and then crop them again, in theory. Crop clips. And what that's doing is taking all those individual pieces of audio and then making them into their own. I guess they're cropping them down. For some reason, now when I drag this into the drum rack, all that naming should show up. Okay, so we have Matchstick. What's this one called? Matchstick Shaker. If I click on it, the name goes up here. Match goes out. Water pouring. Top slide. Match light. Pot top gong. Pot top close. Jar open, top rattle 2, jar rattle, cup slide 1, cup slide 2. Cool. A lot of work, Rev. Why all this? Well, the way you do, why all this is so that we can be able to play this stuff rhythmically and have our own kind of DIY sounds. So what I'd like to do is just start setting up some of the panning so that we do a little bit of magic here. So I'll put this one to the left, put this one to the right. I'm gonna get that rattle up a little bit, so I'll put the gain in, maybe move it here. So now I have like ultimate control over kind of all those little sounds I just made. Cup slide 1. Move that to the left here maybe. And then cup slide 2 to the right. So I'm kind of like, and of course this is to taste. You can do however you please. What's this one here? Ooh, top slide. That's kind of cool. As you see, it's really soft, so I'm just kind of and I'll move this down a little bit. Fade it out. All right, let's see what else we got. Top slide. So this one's still a little bit soft here. Even you could just move it to just that, or that's cool. Can transpose that. Get you a little snare going there, right? You can see the possibilities. You can hear the refrigerator in the background. All I did there is just transpose it a little bit. So I'm basically just kind of going through and seeing what I dig. So I guess I was shaking that matchstick shaker at 75 BPM. I don't like how hot it's coming in there, that attack. I want it to fade in a wee bit. Okay, so now I'm just kind of playing it in. One other thing that might be very helpful, because there's these sounds just like bouncing around everywhere, and there's a little trick where you can set the choke group, and basically you go to hear this in and out, and there's this option that pops up that says choke, and you can assign any and all of these different, what I'm going to do is assign all of them to choke group 1. So that means that anytime I play another note, the original chops off. That one, I'm actually, that top, that kind of like gong sound, I'm actually going to say none. So that can just kind of ring out. This is gotta have joy in life, huh? I like that little. What's that sound if I transpose it? Now, see how freaking fun life is? But can I play to a click? That is the real pregunta up in here. 78, maybe? 80? Let's try 80. Oh, man. Life is good. All right, let's click that in. 2, 3. Now, open up this drum rack, and as you can see, what I just played in, I'm going to fold it here so we can just see what I played. Click. I'm just going to do Command Alt, maybe just quantize it a little bit. I can just hit Command A and it clicks all of these, and I can right click and say quantize. So there you go. My kitchen sink drum rack extraordinaire. It's a little goofy, but you can see the possibilities. You just take your iPhone out, go find a few found sounds, something, anything really that makes noise, and then you can chop it up and make it into an instrument to use in your productions. I think it's pretty cool. You know the drill. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up, a subscribe, show me love, send me flowers. Until next time, keep making noise, y'all. Peace.